over to Bryan Escobedo. Like the typo.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bryan Escobedo. I'm the National Systems Director of Combined Arms, the product owner of the technology. I manage the technology department, and I'm also the National Expansion Manager. So I got out of the Marine Corps in 2008 with a Purple Heart, with a brain injury, PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So getting out, as you see down here, I'm the guy at the bottom at 23 years old. My transition was not great. You see that explosion at the very beginning of 2008, it was not great because of those conditions, and I didn't really have a lot of guidance. 2 years later, I got really lucky when I met a good group of veterans that were doing great work for vets starting nonprofits. And I got invited to be a leader in one of these nonprofit organizations. So in doing so, in 2010, in 1 year alone, I got a great job. I started a career. Made great friends. I found a deep sense of purpose doing military veteran nonprofit work. I was in therapy. I was seeing a neurologist. I was doing a lot of exercise. I was in college having my mind stimulated. So I had a full transformational experience. I got very, very lucky. The next dove on my green line there is me becoming a platoon leader with the Mission Continues. And the one above that is me being a lecturer at the Travis Manning Foundation, where I wrote a social theory on veteran transition. But right above me, this is Michael. Michael is an Army veteran, an infantry veteran, Afghanistan veteran. In the beginning, as soon as he got out and he signed up, he wanted to continue his fitness, so he signed up for Team RWB. But Michael really didn't follow up and he didn't stay engaged in that community. Michael really didn't deal with the things that were bothering him. This first explosion for him is his first DWI. The second one, a while later, is his first suicide attempt. Michael was forgotten. Michael was not reached out to. Michael was not followed up with. He didn't stay in front of the organizations that could help him. At the top there, we have Cassie, who's the Air Force veteran. She's an officer. Cassie went into the Air Force with a degree and got out, got her MBA and went to work for a great organization, a great company, making a high wage. But her industry had a downturn. And without knowing it, without foreseeing it, she was laid off with tens of thousands of other people in her industry. So she had to eat through her savings. Being a single mother of three, she had to eat through her savings and go all the way down. And in her desperation, she researched and found a great organization. She found the Wounded Warrior Project. She got a new job. She got her disability rating appeal, and her economic status was much better. So her life trajectory went back up. Now, these organizations that helped her out enumerate the collaborative of Combined Arms. Combined Arms, you can think of us as a stadium. And the organizations you see here, this is just our top 40, but we have 256 right now in counting. You can think of us as a stadium. These are the concerts. The people, the fans that come in to see those concerts are the clients. These are our veterans, active duty military, Guard, Reserve, family members, as well as SIVs. So these organizations over the past 6 years have yielded 60,000 connections, 60,000 instances of individual connections to the client delivering services. We now have 50,000 veterans who have been served. Of that, 11,000 of those 60,000 were organizations asking the client, what else do you need? And then using our technology to make a referral to another organization. That is measurable collaboration. These organizations meet these people, and we'll see on the next slide here. This is our journey map here. So these organizations are meeting the client after they come into the big blue shape there. They're meeting them where they're at on that day. And maybe they have a relationship for a month, maybe 2 months. Maybe they stay really engaged and that organization keeps silent for a little while. But at some point at the end here, at the top right, they withdraw. At some point, all organizations are going to lose sight. Let me ask you a question. Most of you in here work in nonprofit. Raise your hand if your organization stays in constant contact or stays in contact with your client for life. Not a single one. Not a single one. So that is a big problem. We can do a great job when we're in front of the veteran, but what happens afterward? And that's the major problem that we're seeing with Combined Arms that we're creating a solution for. This is called Combined Arms 3.0 or Life RX. And these are the 4 major pillars of the solution of not losing contact with our clients. At the top right, we have predictive analytics with 2.3 million data points on our clients. We know with high statistical probability what they're going to need. So when you come in and tell us who you are and where you are, we can take a really accurate guess on what you need next. But that's not enough. We're also implementing a social determinants of health survey. This is 10 dimensions of a person's life, including their upward mobility, their self-reporting, their upward mobility, their health, their environment, and other factors about life wellness, life well-being index. And so with that score, we're going to have ups and downs. Some people are going to score high, some people are going to score low. With the low scores, we're taking the self-reported data from the social determinants of health, plus the statistical analysis of what they're likely to need, and we're feeding that into a prescriptive analytics machine. That prescriptive analytics machine is going to pull one unique resource or one unique problem out of 1,100 resources. Now that's 1,100 resources that we have act as an aggregate with all of our organizations. One will be pulled out with a prescriptive analytic tool. And finally, continuity of contact. This is how we stay in contact with our clients for life. This is how we're going to approach that problem. Number one, every single client that comes to Combined Arms, that's all 50,000 and counting, is going to be reached out to on their birthday, on the day they made a profile, and on the day they got out of the military or another significant date that they give us. That's at a minimum. At a minimum, 3 times a year, a veteran like Michael, who was completely forgotten, is going to be contacted. Now, every time the client comes into our system, they're going to be asked this set of questions again. Hey, how are you doing in these different dimensions of your life? Now, that score may change up or down, but if we keep in contact with Cassie, then we'll know that she lost her job. We'll know that Michael is not doing well. We'll know that because we're going to continually reach out to them. There's specific resources that we have in our technology that require a lot of follow-up. One of them is housing, for instance. So housing, we're going to need to follow up that person 2 weeks after they get housed, and subsequently every 6 months. Certain resources, or every single resource, is going to have a definition of success, an outcome measurement or an output measurement, and then a set of instructions that tell the technology, follow this person at this given time. In that way, we have a continuity of contact with the client, and we do not lose sight of the client. This is what it looks like. This is actually our mock-up for 3.0. You can see at the top here, the colorful Skittles chart there. This is actual scoring. This is the person seeing for the first time where they're doing in life with these different dimensions of their social determinants of health. This is customized marketing that's going to go directly to them based upon their needs and interests and things they requested. You can see events, you can see the history of everything requested, and it's one page for simplicity. And Marines love simplicity. And so right now, I want you to take out your phones if you have them. There's a lot more details, data, and information I can share, but I'm somewhat limited with my time. This is the website I created, a landing page to continue to answer more questions. But I do want to say this. We know that as a society, we failed our Vietnam veterans. We know that. And a lot of the great nonprofits started with an idea in heart that we don't want to repeat that same mistake. But even with our best effort, we still cannot prevent that we lose contact with people. Combined Arms Life RX 3.0 is going to give us the ability to completely conquer that problem. We're now going to have the ability to never lose contact again, so that no veteran ever again will be forgotten. And I do have 39 seconds, so really quickly, I do want to thank Wounded Warrior Project for seed funding us and making this possible. I want to thank John Bursa for giving me my first chance in nonprofit back in 2010, a great leader, happy to work for him. I want to thank Casey Kelly for giving me an opportunity, endorsing me to be part of this program. It was life-changing. And I want to thank Mike Hutchins for being an excellent leader. And of course, my wife and kids. Thank you so much for putting up with me and having given me all the support all these years as I do this work. Thank you so much.
Reactions, Betsy?
Yes, fantastic job. I kind of like someone else. I was going through marking notes and you were answering questions as we were going. The only thing that I thought was I got a little confused on, because you're a very clear presenter, good at bringing us back in, was the map. I was having a hard time following the map, so I don't know if and that's just me because we didn't have time for you to sit down and walk me through it. But maybe either just remove that or clear that up. But otherwise, really well done.
I'll send it. You'll see it on the website.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the QR code. I know it connects with all the other questions I might have, but Bryan, thanks for making it personal. Thanks for telling Michael's story and Cassie's story. And thanks for the shout out. This is truly a collaborative effort. A couple of quick questions, maybe afterwards you and I huddle. I want to find out how you get the resources that are in the database.
Absolutely.
Do you use the NRD? Is it Patriot Link? Is it a combination of all those, others? But I just love your passion for the project, and we got to see this through. Thanks.
Outstanding, sir. Thank you.
I also love the storytelling. I thought that first slide with both the photos with the graphical visuals really anchor people's minds in the 3 stories you're telling and show sort of the diversity of experience and that the likelihood is there will be something, you don't know what it is, but there are different drivers over years that will drive you to resources, and that this is there for that, which is really wonderful. And I'm very interested in learning more. So great for the QR card to know more about how that link is going to happen between predictive analytics and the social determinants of health, which is fascinating to me. I did have a question about in the follow-up, because the continuity of contact is very important. Does that happen by email? Does email go to spam, or are people calling? So that was a wonder that I had. And the last thing, I love the dashboard slide in terms of all of the pieces. That's everything someone needs to see. And I love that it's informed by what they clicked on or answered, et cetera. And when I worked at the RAND Corporation, one of the things that we did was learn a lot about cognitive processing of information. And that slide has an incredibly high cognitive processing burden. And for people that already are dealing with often traumatic brain injury and just general depression, et cetera, the more difficult it is to process an important slide like that, the less sort of they will be integrated into what they can do with it. So you might work with some folks that specifically design those kind of slides with cognitive processing in mind.
We've identified a company to make it 508 compliant.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bryan Escobedo.